This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be hearing music from The Doors live at the Isle of Wight Festival, 1970.
And murder ballads by a whole bunch of people. Trust me, it'll make sense once we get to it, okay? Thanks. Hey everybody, this is TJR. I'm a musician and a music writer.
And this is Robert Kinsler, and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And of course, as you know, if you watch the show regularly, every time we do this, we each have an album that we're excited about, that we want to share with the other, and we want to share with you. However, Robert, brace yourself.
Okay.
I'm going to do something a little different this time around. I know you've got an album, of course, but I have something a little bit different, but it does relate. It does have music. It does have songs. But it's a little bit different. Today I'm going to talk about a graphic novel and its accompanying soundtrack entitled Murder Ballads. Now, I happened to just come across this at Borders. I was reading the back of it, what it was about.
Do you mean Borders or Barnes & Noble?
You're right, Barnes & Noble, excuse
poor
me.
Borders is at a...
I still wish sometimes that Borders was here.
I still miss it, yeah.
My brain kind of just fills in the blank, my wish fulfillment. Thank you for catching that.
You're welcome.
But had you not, I'm sure the internet would have been quick to catch it and correct us. And I know they would correct us in a polite and civil fashion because people are never rude or condescending on the internet. We all know that. That's one of the great things about the internet here. So anyway, I was at Barnes & Noble and I happened to come across this book. I was reading the back about what it was about. Now, first of all, it's a very unique package. We have a graphic novel and we have an accompanying soundtrack. This is the download card for the soundtrack, which is, enclosed with the book. The book is written by Gabe Soria, I hope I've said that right, and illustrated by Paul Weinwan, Fred Streising, hopefully I'm saying this all right, and Chris Hunt. The soundtrack is by none other than Dan Auerbach and Robert Finley, two, pretty well-known names if you're, following contemporary music. And let me first just talk about the plot of the book here. The main character is a gentleman named Nate Theodore. He is a deadbeat owner of a failed record label. I told you music was involved. He's on a cross-country drive with his wife Mary to Los Angeles, where he allegedly has a record label A&R gig awaiting him, allegedly. His marriage to his long-suffering wife is heading towards divorce when he discovers Donnie and Marvel Fontweathers. These are two brothers who play very, a very powerful, very doom-laden country blues, as the book describes it. Their own kind of take on this. And he hears them, he just stumbles into a bar, hears them, and he just knows, every instinct inside of him says that this musical duo is the key to all his music business salvation and his success. And he begins his journey on a dark path to be the first person to record them and claim them as his discovery. Now, I say dark path because this book takes some very dark turns to where characters are led down crossroads where they have to decide how far are you willing to go to be successful? Just how much are you willing to do and what lines are you willing to cross to get there? This book is, I think, definitely needs a movie adaptation, in my opinion.
Okay.
If someone makes this film, it's going to be one of those very dark films about music and about blues music in general. Now, the soundtrack, and I'll show you a little bit of the artwork here, just to kind of give you an idea. We'll probably show, I'll probably show some on screen. That's probably a better idea. I'll get some grabs here on screen. But the soundtrack now, the accompanying soundtrack, it's 5 songs. Not a full-length album, but it is 5 songs. Now, when I read about the book, I said, okay, accompanying soundtrack. I thought to myself, okay, I'm getting this for the book. The soundtrack's a nice touch, but I'm getting it for the book. And I thought to myself, I am sure that whatever music is on this, there's no way it's going to be as good as what I imagine it could be when I'm reading it. But, you know, hey, it's part of it. I didn't get it for this. Well, to my surprise, the soundtrack music on this is fantastic. I'm sorry it's only 5 songs. Man, I'm thinking these 2 guys got to get back together and complete the whole soundtrack. Give us a whole album. Maybe if they make a movie, it will happen. I could picture that full-length album coming out of it. Yeah, this is an awesome soundtrack. We're going to play a track for you right now.
Great.
And this track is called Bang Bang.
We go bang, bang, shoot 'em up. You hear us on the back street prowling. We go bang, bang, shoot 'em up. Look out if you hear us howling. Look out if you hear us howling. We want the green and the gold and the silver too. Everything we want before the night is through.
Now you said that's called Bang Bang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a real kind of cool urban blues kind of groove to it and stuff, and very credible. I mean, the song works apart from, obviously, from the graphic novel here. Yeah, no problem on that.
And that song is actually a song that is referenced in the book.
Oh, okay.
You know, and there's actually a sequence here in the book here. I almost want to say like a scene, like a motion picture.
Yeah.
But there is a sequence here, and I'll try to show some of the artwork here. I'll try to put it on camera here, where our main character first sees the 2 brothers playing in this club. They're in the South, and he sees them playing. And here's the actual sequence here, where you see some of the lyrics floating across the page there, you know, to let you know what song they're doing here. And so, you know, these songs are part of the story, you know, and it really helps to shape how you read it. And as I read the book, I said, okay, I'll play the soundtrack while I'm reading it, you know, and I put it on shuffle in case it finished before I could finish reading it. But yeah, and it was great to have it playing while I was reading it. But I couldn't get over how good the music was. I wasn't expecting the music to exceed my expectations. Yeah. Of course, like I said, this book you can get at Amazon. If you don't have any local booksellers, you can certainly find it on Amazon. I believe it was roughly about maybe $15-16 on Amazon. That includes the soundtrack, a good value. We will check out another track here, and here we go.
My girl, don't you lie to me. Tell me where you stayed last night. Was it out in the cold where the wind don't blow and dribble all through the night?
Again, this was my first time hearing anything from the soundtrack here, from Murder Ballads, and yeah, I really like that. I mean, it's very, you know, authentic blues, you know, well performed and heartfelt, and it makes me want to hear more.
I love how dark it is, and once again, I'm hoping for a full-length album, and maybe this will get made into a motion picture. Meantime, I recommend you read the book. It is an absolutely engrossing story. Once I read it, once I started, I could not put it down till it was done. And it has a bonus story in it too. There's a character that we're introduced to that I'm not going to say too much about, but he was like this great record producer who was extremely volatile and had like this very vicious, violent temper.
Okay.
And he is tapped into in the story to record this duo.
Oh, okay.
And there is another backup story in the back about that record producer during his younger days. He relates the story to our main characters within the main story, and then we get that anecdote related in full in a backup feature as well. So you get a nice little extra backup feature that relates to it all. And so just an extra little bonus there. Murder Ballads, and a great read and a great listen.
Yeah, it sounds like so much work was put into that. Just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially to coordinate the music with the book and everything.
Oh, very much. Yeah.
Awesome. Check it out.
Yeah.
Well worth your money.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And so you have something from a very famous band.
Very, very, very special.
Yeah.
I think just about everybody knows the Doors.
Yeah.
Now what we have here, and this is a multi-format release of the Doors live at the Isle of Wight, 1970. The version I have here I purchased is I Matter of fact, I think I bought that at Barnes and Noble too. So it's Blu-ray and CD. So in other words, what you're getting is you're getting the concert in 5.1 surround sound and visually via the Blu-ray, and then also the same concert you're getting. And we'll go ahead and open it now on a CD. Back then, the bands didn't play that long, so they're able to put their full concert on a single CD, audio CD disc. And obviously, you get the film and then a bonus featurette on the Blu-ray. Now, what I will tell you about this release that's so special is this is the final concert that was ever recorded and or filmed featuring the Doors. I believe it was their third to last time that they ever performed together live in front of an audience. And obviously 1970, and that's shortly before, before the band essentially disbanded as a quartet because Jim Morrison relocated to Paris. But this is what I will tell you about this film, and I encourage everybody to view it. As far as listening, as far as the musical quality, spectacular. I mean, and we'll go ahead and hear a little bit of one of the tracks here in a minute. But Jim Morrison had been in some legal troubles in Miami. Probably everyone's heard about that for obscenity. I think there was an ongoing trial. So he was on his best behavior. He basically delivers most of the concert with his eyes closed. There's a true intensity about his performance, but you're not seeing a wild Jim Morrison moving all over the stage. But the band musically is on fire. I mean, the performances, the soloing, how they lock in and deliver these. I think one of the songs is like 10, 11 minutes. I mean, it's a spectacular performance. But again, you are seeing the Doors at the end of their career. As a quartet with Jim Morrison. Why don't we listen to a little bit of one of the tracks? Let's listen to a little bit of Backdoor Man. How about that?
Sounds good to
Everybody knows that tune.
Yeah.
Men don't know, but the little girl, you understand.
I guess the first thing that I want to mention is it still amazes me how well they pulled this off live without a bass player. It's guitar, keyboards, drums, and vocals.
Yeah.
I know that the keyboardist was sometimes hitting, bass
Like a
on
bass note,
on like a separate keyboard maybe, or on foot pedals. But without an actual real bass player there, it amazes me how well they held that together. Usually the drummer and the bass player need to lock into each other, but they did that, and that's the first thing that amazes me. First of all, okay, it sounded fine, it sounded great, without seeing any of the footage, I'm sure it is good. I remember a while back, maybe a few years ago, you loaned me a Blu-ray of a concert prior to all these troubles, when Jim Morrison still had his, was clean shaven, and still very youthful looking.
Was that the Hollywood Bowl? It may have been.
I'm
right?
guessing maybe.
I'm
but
sure.
They had done such a great job of remastering that footage and the audio that it looked like it was filmed now. So I am sure that I'm taking your word for it that the visual quality is fantastic.
It is amazing, and I don't know if it's only because of the technology available today to restore it.
I'm sure.
I know that
it plays a big part in it.
Yeah, I know, and I'll quickly read this, but it's been meticulously restored, visually upgraded footage. The 5.1 mix was done by the original Doors engineer. Everybody probably knows his name, Bruce Botnick. I mean, he's world famous for his work with the Doors. He's still around, obviously, and still engaged in trying to bring the Doors legacy into the 21st century, which this release does. And I have to say, this being the last, from everything that we know, including from the two surviving members of the Doors, this appears to be the last concert the undiscovered gem and stuff that was done this late in their career, and it looks and sounds fantastic. And like I said, if you're a casual fan, I recommend you check out the studio albums like L.A. Woman or the first Doors album or Soft Parade or something. But this album for people like me that just love the Doors, it was just so exciting to watch this this film, and it looks and sounds great on on a home theater system, watching the Blu-ray. I loved it.
I think I'm going to be excited to see it myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty good, strong inclination.
Yeah.
So let's listen to something else. I'm
Yeah,
anxious.
yeah. Tell you what. Let's listen. "Light My Fire" is probably their first,
big hit single.
Yeah, a huge single.
Okay.
Let's listen a little bit of "Light My Fire," the live version.
Play Light My Fire, Jim. Play Light My Fire.
You know that it would be untrue. Know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire.
I think my biggest takeaway on this, and what is to me the most amazing to hear, is Ray Manzarek on the keyboards there, because that bass you're hearing is him on a little bass keyboard.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then he's playing organ here on this other hand.
Yeah.
And now what's amazing about that is that he is playing this full-on melodic bass line. It's not like a really hard bass line to play on the keyboard, but he has to keep that going while he plays the solo, which is going
and
off
locked
in a
in with the
totally
drums, right?
different
Yeah.
direction,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm pretty blown away
Yeah.
by that.
Yeah,
How
and-
well he's handling that.
Oh, amazing! And in this version, I know we're only able to play you a little bit. It's 14 minutes. "Light My
Wow,
Fire"
yeah.
live. I mean, so as it was, I think the original version was like 7 minutes. They cut down to a single.
Yeah.
But here you're hearing them do 14 minutes of "Light My Fire." So, like I said, you definitely have to enjoy the jamming and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because but to me, these John Densmore on drums and then Robbie Krieger on guitar. These guys were just unbelievable, so groundbreaking. They're just one of those such amazing musicians. That they were amazing in the '60s, and they're still amazing to listen to them today, all these years later.
I would
and
agree.
One thing about this performance, when you think about it, is so amazing. They took the stage on August 30th of 1970. It was 2:00 in the morning in front of like 600,000 fans. I don't know how many of the fans were awake at that hour, but this was probably the biggest crowd that ever saw them live, and one of the biggest rock audiences ever that gathered, much larger than Woodstock, the Isle of Wight in 1970. This was a huge concert, and I think the Doors definitely delivered. There's a lot of things, and I think they go into that here. The Who followed them and had a huge light show. The Doors weren't aware that I guess they needed to bring their own lights, so there's very minimal lights, and that's one of the things that they had to. A lot of it is kind of red lit, and then there's a few spots, white spotlights. But like I said, you have to see through that in the limitations of the time. But I think this concert is so fantastic, and I'm so thankful that the Doors and Eagle Rock released it. Both the audio, which is great, and obviously the film.
One of the last concerts ever.
Yeah,
And they weren't aware of it at the time.
Yeah, they weren't
course.
aware of it at the time, but it's we're so lucky to have it, and it looks and sounds so good.
If you ever have seen the Doors film, the Oliver Stone film that was released some decades back, and that's what I was quoting from when I was like, play Light My Fire, Jim. I remember that they'd show these clips where they'd be in the later near the tail end of the band, where they'd get up on stage and people would be yelling that out, and Jim Morrison would be looking at them like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
My memory of the film is that by this point, Jim Morrison is so incapable of being able to perform, and he's just gone. But to hear this,
this dispels that. No, he does not look out of it here or anything.
Yeah.
He was very cogent. He's in tune with the band.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's not doing a lot of movement. I think that's because of the legal things that happened, and maybe it was because it's 2:00 in the morning too.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, the band was very solid. I mean, and like I said, the Doors really, when you think about it, they're one of these bands that really they don't have any comparisons with anybody else. I mean, they were very unique. They created their own soundscape, their own moodscape. What they did was really incredible. I mean, like the Beatles before them and some other bands. I mean,
so many bands from that time period who were risk takers.
They were risk takers,
They took risks,
just
huge risks, and it paid off.
Yeah, it
in full.
really did, and they continue to be influential, and I think their songs and their sound are timeless.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we are done.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap,
okay,
right?
Good. I think that's a wrap. And have you checked out this album, this Blu-ray? Have you checked out this book? Let us know. Let us know what you think. Do you plan on checking them out? Let us know in the comments. And as always, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. And if you are subscribing, or if you've already subscribed, please take a moment to click that little bell icon. That will let you, that will send notifications so that you will know when we release new videos, so you can know when we talk about new releases. We don't want you to be left behind, so please do that. And till next time, my name's TJR.
And my name's Robert Kinsler.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you.
See you later, everybody. Okay. I thought you were starting.
You will start
Okay.
just the introduction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
3.
Hey, everybody. This is TJR.
And
Let's start again.
Let's start again.
3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. This is TJR. I'm a musician.